Shadow of War, guys, has seen the light. Yes, yes, yes. They did it. So they announced officially, Warner Brothers said, "We have seen the errors of our ways, and we will be removing microtransactions entirely from Shadow of War." That's right. Those pesky single-player microtransactions will be removed as of sometime in June this year. And that means, guys, that I can officially now go out and buy this game. Which is exciting for me because I've never played it. Because I have this strict, very strict rule that I will not support games that have microtransactions in the single-player campaign. Now, and by that I mean I'm not going to go out and buy a game full price, $60 for that game. I'm not paying full price for a game that wants me to pay extra, like in Shadow of War did, which apparently had this huge grind at the end of the campaign, and that's how they got people to try to get microtransactions. I'm not buying into that. If the game ever comes on sale, I said, for 20 bucks, maybe then I'd pick it up. And the same goes for Far Cry 5 and a bunch of other games like that, but I'll go back into that in a minute. But I want to go back to this whole, look what Warner Brothers did. They're taking out microtransactions, and we should now commend them for doing such a thing because they have seen the error of their ways, right? Well, not exactly. The more I thought about this, and I was excited because I was finally going to get to play this game, especially after Shadow of Mordor, because I love that game, I had to take a step back and realize what they were actually doing here. And it's very clever, they're very tricky, and this is a very interesting business move that they did. You see, what the business executives, those wonderful people with their nice fancy Italian leather suits over at Warner Brothers did was they realized that they had already milked the market for anyone that was interested in getting microtransactions for Shadow of War, and they wanted to continue trying to make what little bit of money was left. So then they decided, you know what, this is perfect. It's almost been out of year. The diehards have already played it. The microtransaction people, they've already come and gone and purchased the money. We've already made a good killing off of that. Let's try to bring in some new audience into this game, those that were smarter than the rest of the people, that didn't buy into the microtransaction BS, so we can get a little bit more money out of this franchise. And that leaves me with a little bit of salty taste in my mouth because I'm 99% positive that's exactly what they're thinking here. They're not thinking for the good of the gaming community. They're not thinking for us, the consumer. They are thinking with their wallets, and that's it, guys. And something about that just pisses me off the wrong way. So, unfortunately, I don't know if I'm ever going to play Shadow of War. I just can't support this thing. I can't support any games with microtransactions, period. Any game that has a microtransaction never gets a 10 out of 10 in my book. It goes down a point automatically. An example of this for me is Rocket League. I love Rocket League. I've put 200 to 300 hours into that game. I love playing it. It is so much fun. It was a 10 out of 10 in my heart. And then they came out with microtransactions and loot boxes for the game, and it went from a 10 out of 10 to a 9 out of 10. And it ruined the game for me just a little bit. And that makes a big deal because a game like that I love that much, when they add in something like that, it's sad. And I get it. It's a $20 game, and you think it's not a big deal. But it is a big deal because you can't be okay with games like Rocket League and Overwatch and any other online multiplayer game having microtransactions, and even if it's just for skins and stuff, you can't be okay with that because then you get corporations like Warner Brothers coming out here and Ubisoft saying, well, if they can put microtransactions in the online multiplayer, what if we do it for the single player, huh? Yeah! It's a whole new audience. Some people only like single player campaigns, so we can just subtly move on over here and just add now microtransactions into the single player campaign. I'm certain people at first will be not okay with it, but they'll come around to it, and then the audience will say it's not a big deal, just like they always do. And look, I get it, man. Really, I do. Microtransactions, whether I like it or not, whether you like it or not, they're here to stay. And that's why I tolerate them in the online multiplayer. I'm personally a single player person myself. I like to play games on my own and do my thing or just watch someone else play it. I like doing that sort of thing, but I do enjoy the online multiplayer experience, but it's been slightly ruined for me ever since microtransactions have been in every single one. But I put up with it, because I understand also that people like the appeal of it. People want to get that new weapon skin or get that Tracer outfit from Overwatch. You know, the one that shows a little bit more cleavage. You know the one I'm thinking of, you dirty, horny boys. And it's like a casino, you know, it's a giant, shiny, flashy lights, the crates are going, maybe I'll get something good, maybe I won't, oh baby, and it feeds that gambling addiction. But games like Deus Ex, Mankind Divided, I bought that, and I was so excited to play it, got home, put it in, and then I realized there were microtransactions in the single player campaign, and I lost my lid, man. I couldn't even begin. I put it right back in the case, and I took it back to the store and got a refund. I was so disappointed in that. That is just the most heartbreaking thing, and then it's not okay for me. Shadow of War, I'm sorry. I will never buy your game probably at this point. Maybe if it comes on a really good sale and I'm feeling generous, I just can't do it. And then games like Assassin's Creed Origins, I still haven't touched it. I understand. My sister has it, she loves it, and she told me, hey, the microtransactions, they're not in your face. You don't even really need them if you're ever interested. And you know what? When it comes down to $20, sure, maybe then I'll pick it up, but I can't do it. And of course, Far Cry 5 also has microtransactions in the single player. And you get a lot of YouTubers that talk about this and they say, hey, it's not overwhelming, it's not in your face. Yes, it's there, but you don't even need it. And that's not the point though. The point is that this is a matter of principle for me. I do not support games that have single-player microtransactions in them, period. And to this day, I haven't bought Deus Ex, Human Mankind, whatever, garbage, Square Enix, why did you ruin a stealth series for me? I haven't touched it. Assassin's Creed Origins, haven't touched it. Far Cry 5, haven't touched it. Shadow of War, haven't touched it. And even though they're removing the microtransactions, I still probably won't get the game. And that's just kind of where I have to make my stand. And I want more people to make this stand with me, because if more people say, hey, microtransactions and single player campaigns is an absolute no-go, companies will stop doing it. Because ultimately, guys, we have the power. We can tell the companies what is okay and what is not okay. I mean, look what we did to Star Wars Battlefront 2. Where is that fire? Come on, guys. So that's just my stance, though. I would love to know your stance, though. Are you okay with single-player microtransactions in the games? Are you okay with online multiplayer having microtransactions? And do you think I'm just being a baby? Feel free to leave a comment down below. Leave a like if you enjoy what I'm doing on this channel. And if you don't like my content, always bear comfort in the fact that I am in fact Bradley Overrated and always will be. No matter how many subscribers I get, no matter how many views I get, I will always consider myself an overrated piece of trash. Have a good one. I'm going to go back to playing Blitzball more now, because, man, I love Final Fantasy X. So good. No microtransactions. It's beautiful.